Hello, welcome back to my channel. This is another lecture with Ms. Tafe. Today's lecture, we will focus on the science, technology, and society. For this topic, we will focus more on the medieval ages. As we all know, medieval ages, this was the time of castles and peasants, guilds and monasteries, cathedrals and crusades. Great leaders such as Joan of Arc and Charlemagne were part of Middle Ages, as well as the major events such as the Black Plague and the rise of Islam. But for this course, we will focus on the inventions and society in times of medieval ages. Specifically, we will focus on how society, or a society as a driving force of the invention, and the outcomes or results of invention and technology to the society. So let's start. Medieval Ages is the start of the Middle Ages. The start of it was marred by massive invasions and migration. So as you can see there on your screen, here on this picture right here, you will see that it's all about invasion and migrations, or specifically what we know to be the wars. Wars were prevalent during this time. And because of these wars, great technology was needed in the fields of weaponry, navigation, mass food, and farm production. For example, here in the picture, that you can see here in the lower left side of your screen, you will see here that this is all about the weaponry or the weapons used in wars during the medieval ages or the Middle Ages. And also, this is how the mass food or farm production looks like in the medieval ages, and is considered to be the great innovation and technology used in this time. And also medicine. So as you can see here on the lower right side of your screen, you will see here that this is the medicine way back in the medieval time or ages. And right here, this is also one form of health or invention in health. Specifically, this is the dentistry in times of medieval ages. To continue it, the wars have resulted in population of decline. It means that because of wars, there was a decline in the population, that the population had to become lesser as a result of the war. But during the later part of the period, there was a significant rise in the population. So in the later part of this war, or in the later part of this medieval ages, the population had increased. Trade and commerce among nations increased, which resulted in greater demands for transportation and technology. And some of the most innovative minds came from this period. As you can see here on the picture, this picture speaks about the trade and commerce in the late period of medieval ages. So there was business and there was industry, including the trade and commerce. And this event demands for more innovation, um, for technology, and of course for transportation. Oops, so let me just arrange this. Okay, so another one here is that we have one of the best inventor in the time of medieval ages, and that was Johann Guttenberg. And he was able to invent the printing press, a more reliable way of printing using a cast type. And what does this printing press looks like in the medieval ages? In the account of actually of Johann Guttenberg, what's stated there that this printing press was a wooden machine, so it was made up of woods, which extracted juices from fruits. Attached to them is a meta impression of letters, and pressed firmly the cast metal into a piece of paper, which then made an exact impression on a paper. So this is exactly how this printing press looks like during the medieval ages or Middle Ages. And what is invented? So what was the driving force that this printing press was invented during the medieval ages? Basically, the printing press was invented to address the need of publishing books that would spread information to many people at a faster rate. This invention also made works accessible to individuals who cannot even write. That's according to Stage Guth, 1997. So basically, the driving force of the invention of the printing press was primarily to let the information or data spread faster than it was before during this time, and to let those people or individuals who could not even write. And now, what was the result of this invention of printing press to the society? First, it lets the information spread way faster than it was before. And second, it has evolved to be the mechanical printing press, which was eventually used all over the world today. So, including the tarpaulin printing and all types of printing that we have today, it all started way back with the invention of printing press machine during the medieval time or medieval ages. And the second invention in the medieval ages was the microscope. So what caused or what was the driving force of the invention of microscope? Way back then, during the medieval time or medieval period, there was a growing population which caused massive migration and urbanization during the period. And more and more people transferred to polluted and populated urban areas, which resulted to more people getting sick and needing medical attention. So during this time, a lot of people were getting sick and acquired illness or illnesses, and that needs medical attention or that needs medicine or cure, which caused by too much population or populated places or populated areas because of massive migration and urbanization during this time. So another thing that caused this invention was is that the society needed a device which could magnify things invisible to the eye and discovering of means in preventing and curing various illnesses. So another thing that drive this invention of microscope was the need to find for cure or medicine um, for the illness that they had undergone or that they had experienced during the medieval time or the medieval ages or the middle ages rather. And what was the result of inventing such microscope during the Middle Ages? So the result was the people or the society had discovered the means to prevent and cure various illnesses or sickness. So they have developed medicines or vaccines or cure for such illnesses and diseases. Another discovery that was invented during the medieval or Middle Ages was the telescope. This was the telescope way back then during the medieval ages. And what caused this invention? During the age of exploration, the need for nautical inventions was high. So when you say nautical, it's all about ship, it's all about voyage, it's all about like having business or trade in the bodies of water, and also it goes probably with the cargo and like the modern ships that we have today. So we have cargo and tanker and any other else. So it's all about navigation through the seas or bodies of water. And considering the vast and empty oceans that separated lands, ship captains needed to see far and wide for them to navigate or to avoid dangers at the sea. So basically, um, the problem before was that one of the problems in the navigation or nautical area or aspect was the possible dangers that awaits for the ship or the captains or the crews in the oceans or in the seas. So this was the driving force or this caused the invention of telescope. And what was the result of the invention of telescope to the society? First, it helps in the observation of remote objects. And it was a great help for navigators during this time. It was a great help for them because they can avoid the possible dangers that awaits for them ahead of their location. And because of this use of telescope, they can able to see wider and far behind or farther in further vision. And together with the telescope, the invention of the compass, oars, and rudders made sea traveling easier and safer. So it's not only the telescope that was invented during this time, but also the compass, because as we all know, compass is used to tell us the right direction, or which direction are we right now. So, as navigators, or for those crews working in the ship or captains, such telescope and compass, oars, and rudders were a great help in the nautical aspect, or in the navigation with the seas or oceans. Let's continue. Another invention during the medieval ages was war weapons, or the weaponry. So as you can see there on your screen, this was the weapons, or the armory that was used, or that were used rather, during the medieval or middle ages. So what caused inventing war weapons, or weaponry, or armory? Since wars were widespread during the Middle Ages through the medieval time, great development in the weaponry and technology also occurred. So, war triggered the invention, or war and invasions triggered the invention of technology in terms of weaponry and armory, just like this one. So, what was the result of this invention of armory and weapons, or weaponry? So people developed crossbows and longbows so that they could attack the enemies at long ranges, keeping themselves safe. So this was the result of inventing weaponry and weapons and armors, or let's say those weapons to be used in war. So we have here up above, we have the crossbow. So this is the crossbow. So, and this right below here is the longbow. So the difference here is that for the longbows, it requires enough time, enough skills to practice so that you can handle the longbows, because it requires skills. But for these crossbows, you can just use directly this one without enough training or proper training. But it requires strength on the upper parts of your body. And what else? What was the result or the outcomes to the society? Because of this invention, it led as well to body armors that will protect the soldiers. However, these body armors were too heavy to handle, were too heavy to carry for the soldiers. So this has led to the invention of chainmail. So as you can see, when we say chainmail, looks like this. So it's just like a body shield or an armor, but it's way lighter compared to armors or steel armors. So if you're gonna zoom it, it's just like a chainmail. So it's composed of chains connected together, and at the same time, it will going to protect your body from close fighting during the war. Okay, and I think that's it for this lesson for the medieval ages. So that's PowerPoint, or a short lecture, showed you the invention. So what triggered the invention during the medieval ages, and what was the result of that invention to the society, and to the current society that we are living in, to the current generation that we have right now. And next, in my next video, we'll be talking as well about the inventions and its relation to the society during the modern ages. So if you think this video, please click like below, or you can click subscribe so that you'll be notified when I'm going to upload my next video about this. So again, thank you so much for tuning in, for listening to this class lecture. I hope it helps a lot, especially for this course in subject science, technology, and society. Thank you very much, and have a nice day. See you again.